Hello everyone, my name is Emily Nietring and this is my video presentation on substance abuse. Dope, lit, wasted, the list goes on of slang terms associated with substance abuse and addiction. Pop culture has even romanticized the idea of drug and alcohol use to appeal to the masses. Addiction is not just a way of life for some, it is a disease, a psychological disorder, and is in fact curable. To understand addiction and the power it holds over people, it's important to know the facts about this medical condition. Substance abuse, or SUD, is defined as harmful or excessive use of substances such as alcohol, illicit drugs, or prescription medications. People use drugs and alcohol for all sorts of reasons: to feel a sense of euphoria, seek pleasure, or escape their realities. Others can become addicted to medications prescribed for injuries or illnesses. Many people who suffer from substance abuse have an underlying mental health disorder. Regardless of how the addiction begins, the results are often quick and hard to break away from. This endless cycle can lead to many downfalls in a person's life, including alienation from family, financial struggles, job loss, and even severe legal troubles. Despite the consequences, it's not only a psychological disorder, but can become a physical one as well, and people often rely on drugs to carry out their day. Drugs can come in many forms. The most common substances used are alcohol, amphetamines, cannabis, opiates, hallucinogens, and benzodiazepines, each with its own set of effects and reactions. These side effects can also differ from person to person. Addiction is not limited to illicit drugs and alcohol only, but can include tobacco use, sex, and gambling. So when does substance abuse become addiction? The American Society of Addiction Medicine reports that addiction is characterized by the inability to stop using, impaired behavior and self-control, the regular presence of cravings, weakened ability to recognize behavioral or relationship problems, and dysfunctional emotional responses to stimuli. People who turn to substance abuse aren't just moral defectives. It's a severe, reoccurring psychological condition where the brain is basically hijacked. The drugs tamper with the way the neurons in our brain send, receive, and process signals. During the intoxication stage, dopamine floods the nucleus accumbens, which is referred to as the pleasure center of the brain. This phase alters the brain's natural reward systems. Addictive substances can release 2 to 10 times more dopamine than natural reward stimulants, like hanging out with your friends or eating your favorite snack. Over time, your brain's natural response to overstimulation can be turned down as a defense mechanism, diminishing dopamine altogether, which in turn leads to tolerance. With lower dopamine levels, the extended amygdala becomes overreacted. This reaction causes feelings of emotional pain, distress, and anxiety. When the substance is no longer present, the brain's equilibrium becomes disrupted, and the substance is no longer used just to get high, but to quiet the system's withdrawal sensors. As drugs are introduced to the brain more and more, the connectivity between the prefrontal cortex and the reward center weakens. This is the area of the brain responsible for decision making and impulse control. So substance abuse can quite literally change the brain's biology. Though some symptoms are noticeable, others can be harder to detect. To have a SUD diagnosis, someone must exhibit 2 or more of the following symptoms. Some symptoms include having an urge to use the drug several times a day, over time needing more of the drug just to get the same effect, not meeting obligations or work responsibilities, continuing to use the drug despite the physical and psychological harm it causes, and spending a lot of your time getting, using, or recovering from the drug. Withdrawal symptoms can be severe as well. Different substances have different effects on your mind and body. For example, someone who uses cocaine over long periods of time can experience tremors, paranoia, and seizures. Some physical withdrawal symptoms can require medical attention. In extreme cases, a person can develop organ failure and have lifelong problems from the effects of substance abuse. So who suffers? Substance abuse and addiction is not discriminating. It doesn't matter what sex, age, social, or economic status you have. It can affect a person's mental health and create lifelong implications. It also has a severe impact on families, oftentimes on children. Many of the children in foster care and adoption programs have suffered from the repercussions of drug use by their parents. Aside from oneself and loved ones, it can affect society and healthcare systems. Many public funds go towards emergency room visits, treatment services, and hospitalizations. Workplaces are also affected by employees who perform under the influence of drugs. It can become dangerous for other employees, especially if heavy equipment or chemicals are involved. With increasing percentages every year, the fight against drugs is constant. In the United States alone, for people 12 years and older, 46.6% of people consume alcohol on a daily basis, and 16.7% of people use illicit drugs. Over 500,000 people in the United States alone use illicit drugs more than once, and 1.15 million people have died from drug overdoses from 1991. The hardest part of addiction is knowing when to get help. There's a wide range of treatment options for people, whether that be rehabilitation, individual, group, or family therapy. Some of the more innovative options like Ozempic and Wegovy are being prescribed to curb substance cravings, while Prozac is still a common antidepressant medication used to aid in recovery from substance abuse. In many cases, long-term treatment is needed depending on the extent of the addiction. In conclusion, substance use disorder involves a person's inability to control their use of drugs, alcohol, or prescription medications. It affects about 16.8% of Americans aged 12 and older, making it a widespread public health concern. The impacts extend beyond the individual, influencing families, relationships, workplaces, and healthcare systems. Treatment often includes rehabilitation programs, therapy, and medication assisted options for recovery. Thanks for listening. I hope this information was helpful in better understanding substance abuse and its repercussions.